Alright, so isang mapagpalang araw po, no? Happy Saturday po sa ating lahat. And I hope nandito na po yung ating mga TLE at saka yung ating mga TVET majors, no? Kapag nandito na po, no, magparamdam sa ating comment section. And of course, pakilipag na rin po ng ating complete name with an LP at the end. At least, no, kiniklaim na po natin, binamanifest na po, na po natin, no, na tayo po ay papasa at pagiging licensed professional teachers very, very soon. Okay? Pakilapag po ng ating mga pangalan dyan, no, sa ating comment section. Huwag pong mahiyang maglapag dyan ng ating complete name with an LPT at the end. And of course, this morning po, no, pag-uusapan po natin yung ating Agri-Fishery Arts. Okay? I hope na dito na po yung ating mga TLE major in APA. Okay? And of course, pwede pa rin pong humabol, no, for only 130 pesos. Pwede po ninyo ma-avail yung ating final coaching, yung ating pre-board examination. Okay, naging open na po siya kahapon. Open pa rin po hanggang ngayon, no? Downloadable files, okay, right after this one po, no? After my discussion, the soft copy of this presentation will be posted po sa ating private group. And of course, you will be receiving the tips and techniques on how to pass the board exam. And of course, meron po tayong mga pabaon drills, no? For only 130 pesos, pwede po ninyong ma-avail lahat ng ito. Okay? And this time po, no, pag-usapan po natin yung ating final coaching schedule, no? Today po, we will be having our AFA and ICT. Ako po yung mauuna, no? From 8 a.m. hanggang 9 po ito. And of course, by exactly 1 p.m. po mamaya, no? Bali, we will be having our new lecturer, no? That is Coach Arman. And of course, tomorrow po, we will be talking about home economics at saka yung ating industrial arts, okay? From 8 hanggang 9, that would be home economics. And of course, no, by 1 p.m. onwards, and of course, pag-uusapan naman po natin yung ating industrial arts. Okay, nandito na po bang lahat? Magparamdam po dyan, no, sa ating comment section. And of course, here, bago po tayo magsimula, no, I invite everyone to pray. Let's have our daily prayer. Lord God, as I begin my review, calm my mind and strengthen my focus. Grant me wisdom to understand, patience to learn, and clarity to remember all that I've studied. Guide my thoughts, remove all fear, and fill my heart with confidence and peace. May my efforts bring honor to you and lead me closer to my goals. Amen. Okay, shoutout po sa ating mga students noon na nakaabang. Okay, nandito na po si Miss Jaya, no, Simbahon, LPT. Okay, nandito na din si Sir Francisco Mercado, LPT. Nandito na din si Miss Queen Rose, LPT. Okay, nandito na din si Sir Steven. Okay, si Miss Irish, nandito na din. Magandang umaga po, Miss Eunice. Okay, nandito na din si Miss Mona Lisa, no? O, sige nga po, pakilapag po ng ating mga locations, no? Saan po ba tayo nanonood ngayon? Okay? Para may free shoutout po tayo, no? Sige po, pakilapag po ng ating mga locations, saan po tayo nanonood ngayon. Okay, pakishare po ng ating live, no? And of course, pakimention din po ng ating mga kakilala, ng ating friends, ng ating mga classmates sa ating comment section, no? At least, matulungan po natin sila, no? So we have here student. Major in ICT, no? We have Miss Angelica Lacheca, LPT. Okay, we have student from La Union, okay, watching from Cebu, no? Watching from Isabela. Okay, magandang umaga po. Good morning, good morning. Okay, we have student from Davao City, si Miss Irish. Okay, magandang umaga po. Okay, watching from General Santos City, from Tayabas, Quezon, no? From Ilocos, watching from Cavite. Okay, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. And of course, welcome po sa ating panibagong live session. And of course, this is your final coaching. Pag-usapan po natin yung ating agriculture and fishery arts. Okay, kapag handa na po tayo, no? Pakilapag po, ready na sa ating comment section. Again, kapag handa na po tayo makipagbardagulan at itop yung ating napapalapit na licensure examination for professional teachers, pakilapag po, ready na sa ating comment section. Okay, watching from Bulacan, no? Shoutout kay Miss Eunice. Watching from Malabon City, from Katarman. I Sir Francisco. Okay, handa na po ba? Kapag handa na po, no, pakilapag, ready na. Ready na daw si Sir Francisco, si Miss La Checa, ready na din. Of course, wag na po natin patagalin. Let's begin our discussion with item number one. Pakilapag po ng ating item number with your correct choice. Okay, your question here. Which soil particle size is the smallest and possesses the highest cation exchange capacity? Is it A, sand, letter B, silt, letter C, clay, or letter D, gravel? What is your choice? Item number one, pakilapag po sa ating comment section. Again, we are talking about here the soil particle, no? That is the smallest and of course possesses the highest cation exchange capacity. Okay? So ano pong klaseng soil type ito? Is it a sand, letter B, silt, letter C, clay, or letter D, gravel? I see letter C, yes. Tumpak mo yung letter C natin, ang gagaling ng taong bayan. Of course, this is correct, no? Yan po yung ating clay mismo. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, ha? Kapag sinabi po natin clay, of course, ito po yung, it has no smallest soil particle among the primary soil separates, katulad po ng ating sand, silt, and clay. And of course, it measures no less than 0.02 millimeter in diameter because it's extremely fine size in large surface area. Yung clay particles po natin dito, kaya po niyang i-hold no, and exchange a large number of positively charged nutrients or yung mga cations na tinatawag natin and exchange no and exchange a large number of positively charged nutrients or yung ating mga cations katulad po ng ating mga calcium, potassium, and magnesium. And of course, yung abilidad na yan po yung tinatawag natin na cation exchange capacity which is important no, for soil fertility and nutrient availability for plants. Okay, yan po yung ating clay. And of course, no, it has fine size, di ba? Fine size particle or particle size. And of course, kaya po niyang i-retain yung moisture po. No? That is what we call clay. Kaya letter C po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number two. A soil with a pH of 4.5 is considered is a neutral. Letter B, strongly alkaline. Letter C, strongly acidic. Or letter D, saline. What is your choice? Or solid. What is your choice? Again, item number two. A soil with pH of 4.5. Okay? So ano po ito? Makukonsider po natin yung ating lupa as ano? Is it a neutral? Letter B, strongly alkaline. Letter C, strongly acidic. Or letter D, saline. What is your choice? Item number two. Kapag may pH level of 4.5, what is this? Isolarcias. Tumpak ba yung larsi natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiyang maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Isolarcias. Tumpak ba yung larsi natin? Of course, this is correct. No, yan po ay strongly acidic. Okay? Tingnan lamang po natin yung ating pH levels dito, no? Kapag below 5.5, that is acidic. Okay? Kaya pinag-usapan po natin yung 4.5. Of course, mapabilang po siya sa ating acidic, no? Kapag pinag-uusapan po natin no, the ideal pH for plant growth, this would be 6 to 7. Okay? Yan po ay neutral. And of course, kapag nag-exceed naman po no, from 8 hanggang 14, of course, yung ating lupa dito, it is highly alkaline. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin ha. Kapag 4.5 po yung ating pH level po ng ating soil, that is acidic. No? Kaya letter C po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number three, the movement of water downward through the soil profile is called blank. Is it A, infiltration? Letter B, percolation. Letter C, evapotranspiration. Or letter D, capillary action. What is your choice? Item number three. Again, we are talking about here the movement of water, no, downward through the soil profile. Okay, so ano po ito? Is that A, infiltration? Letter B, percolation. Letter C, evapotranspiration. Or letter D, capillary action. What is your choice? I see letter C, yes. Tumpak ba yung letter C natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiyang maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. I see letter C, yes. I see letter D, yes. Okay, tumpak po ba yung mga choices natin? I hope nakasagot na po yung lahat no sa ating pre-board. So pwedeng-pwede nyo pong mabalikan yon no? If in case na medyo hindi po kayo satisfied sa inyong mga scores. Okay, so item number 3, I see letter B's, I see letter C's. O sige, try po natin sagutin ito. Huwag pong mahiya no kahit alanganin po yung ating mga sagot. Wala pong problema yan, no? Hmm. Item number three, I see letter B's, I see letter C's. And of course, kapag ganito po yung klaseng mga tanungan no, na encounter po natin, sa actual board examination, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is percolation na tinatawag. Okay, tanda lamang po natin ha, kapag sinabi po natin percolation, of course, ito po yung proseso no, or the process by which water moves downward through the soil layers or soil profile due to gravity. And of course, yung movement na yan, no, that allows water to pass through the pores of the soil and reach deeper layers, no, helping recharge groundwater and distribute moisture to plant roots. Okay, yan po yung ating percolation na tinatawag. What about our infiltration? Of course, ito po ay entry of water from the surface into the soil. Okay, ano po ba yung pinagkaiba, no? Kapag sinabi po natin infiltration and percolation, tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin infiltration, ito po ay process of water no entering the soil surface. While po yung ating percolation, ito naman po ay subsequent downward movement of that water through the soil profile. Okay, yan po yung ating pinagkaiba po mismo ng ating infiltration sa ating percolation na tinatawag. Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin evapotranspiration, of course, it refers to the combined process of water evaporation from the soil and transpiration from plants into the atmosphere. Okay, yan po yung ating evapotranspiration. Kapag sinabi naman po natin capillary action, of course, it is the upward or sideways movement of water through small soil pores no, due to surface tension. Okay, yan po yung ating capillary action. But then we are talking about here the movement of water downward through the soil profile. That is what we call percolation. Okay, letter B po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 4, which fertilizer is a complete fertilizer containing all three macronutrients. Again, complete fertilizer containing all three primary macronutrients. Is it A for urea, letter B, letter C, or letter D? What is your choice? Again, item number 4, we are talking about here a type of fertilizer no, na makukonsider po natin as complete fertilizer. And of course, it contains all three primary macronutrients. Okay, so ano po yan? Is that A, letter B, letter C, or letter D? No? Klase po ng abono ito. Okay, naligwak lang. Agad-agad si Miss Mona Lisa. Wala pong problema yan. So, wala po bang tamang sagot sa pre-board? Sadya pong wala, okay? Kasi nga po, ira-rationalize po natin ngayon, no? Lahat po na lumabas na kahapon sa ating pre-board, ito po siya mismo yung ating nira-rationalize ngayon, no? Item number 4, kapag macronutrients, of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be letter. This is letter C, no? That is 14, 14, and 14. Okay, tanda lamang po natin ha, kapag macronutrients, of course, they are needed, no, in large amounts. Okay, yan po yung ating macronutrients. And of course, napabilang po dyan yung ating NPK na tinatawag o yung ating nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, kaya letter C po, yung ating tumpak na choice, no? That is 14% for nitrogen, 14% for phosphorus, and 14% po sa ating mga potassium. Okay, sa nanuka po natin ha, kapag macronutrients, NPK po yan. We go to item number 5, the loss of nitrogen to the atmosphere in the form of ammonia gas is known as, is it A, volatilization, letter B, denitrification, letter C, leaching, or letter D, fixation? What is your choice? Item number 5. Again, we are talking about here the loss of nitrogen no, to the atmosphere in the form of ammonia gas. No? Ano po yung tawag dyan? Is it A, volatilization? Letter B, denitrification. Letter C, leaching, or letter D, fixation. Pasensyahan po, this one is letter B. Okay, hindi po ito letter D, ha? O sige, item number 5, what is your choice? I see letter A, I see letter C. Ano po yung tumpak na choice? Pakilapag po dyan sa ating comment section. No? Kahit alanganin po, wala pong problema yan. No? Bawal judgmental po tayo dito. Okay? So, item number 5, I see letter A's, I see letter C's. And of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin no, sa actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be letter A. No? That is what we call volatilization. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po nating volatilization, of course, ito po yung proseso no, kung saan po yung ating nitrogen in the soil particularly from fertilizers katulad po ng ating urea, no, is lost to the atmosphere as ammonia gas. And of course, usually nangyayari po yan, no, when nitrogen fertilizers remain on the soil surface and are exposed po sa init, no, wind, or high pH conditions, reducing the amount of nitrogen available for plant uptake. Okay, yan po yung ating volatilization. Kaya letter A po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 6. Lodging in cereal crops like rice and wheat refers to blank is that a seed germination failure. Letter B, falling over the stalks due to wind or heavy rain. Letter C, premature ripening. Or letter D, insect infestation in the grain. What is your choice? Item number 6. Again, we are talking about here lodging, no, in our cereal crops, okay? So ano po yung nangyayari sa ating mga cereal crops, no? Is that a seed germination failure? Let it be falling over the stalks due to wind or heavy rain. Let it C, premature ripening. Or let it be insect infestation in the grain. What is your choice? Item number 6. Pakilapag po sa ating comment section. Alright, item number 6 kapag lodging. Okay, lodging po yung ating pinag-uusapan dito, no? I see letter B, yes. Tumpak ba yung letter B natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiyang maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Okay, I see a lot of letter B, yes. Tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Of course, this is. May habol pa ba? Of course, this one is correct, no? That is falling over the stalks due to wind or heavy rain na tinatawag. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, ha? Kapag sinabi po nating lodging, of course, ito po ay bending, no, or falling over of plant stems close to the ground. And usually, no, ito po ay, kasi nga po, ito po ay usually caused by strong winds, heavy rain, weak stems, or excessive fertilizer use. And of course, yung lodging na yan, no, can reduce crop yield, di ba, in quality because the plants cannot stand upright to receive enough sunlight and may be difficult to harvest. Okay? Bababa po yung crop yield mo kapag kadalasan nagkakaroon po ng lodging, no? Kaya letter B po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 7. Oh, letter B daw kasi mahaba na naman. Okay, item number 7. Which organic fertilizer is produced by the decomposition of organic matter using earthworms? Again, decomposition of organic matter using our earthworms. Okay, ano po yan? Is that a guano? Letter B, bone meal. Letter C, green manure. Or letter D, vermicompost. What is your choice? Item number 7. Pakilapag po sa ating comment section. Item number 7 is the letter D, vermicompost. What about the others? This one is very familiar. Okay, letter D daw. Tumpak mo yung letter D natin. Of course, this is correct. No? Yan po yung ating vermicompost na tinatawag. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, ha. Kapag sinabi po nating vermicompost, of course, ito po yung ating organic fertilizer, no, produced through the decomposition of organic materials katulad po ng ating mga food waste and plant residues by earthworms. Okay, yan po yung ating vermicompost. Kapag guano po, tanda lamang po natin, of course, ito po ay accumulated droppings of bats or seabirds na ginagamit po natin, no, as an organic fertilizer rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay, yan po yung ating guano. Kapag bone meal po, tanda lamang po natin, of course, ito po yung powder, no, made from crushed animal bones, mainly used as a source of phosphorus and calcium. Okay, yan po yung ating bone meal. Kapag green manure po, of course, ito naman po ay mga fresh plants, no, natin or crops that are grown and then plowed into the soil to improve the soil fertility in organic matter. Okay, yan po yung ating mga green manure. But then we are talking about here a type of organic fertilizer that is produced, no, by the decomposition of organic matter by the earthworms. That's what we call vermicompost. Kaya already po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 8. The point at which a plant cannot recover from water stress even if water is added is the blank is at a field capacity. Letter B, saturation point. Letter C, permanent melting point. Or letter D, available water capacity. What is your choice? Item number 8. Again, we are talking about here a point or a phase wherein our plant cannot recover from water stress, no? Even if water is added, okay? Kahit diniligan po natin mismo, no? Hindi na po siya makaka-recover, okay? That's so sad. Is it a filled capacity, letter B, saturation point, letter C, permanent melting point, or letter D, available water capacity? I see letter C is, I see letter, okay, letter C is, most of you answered letter C is. Tumpak ba yung letter C natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiya maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Letter C is, and of course, that is correct. No? Yan po yung ating permanent welting point na tinatawag. Okay? Tingnan po natin yung ating illustration dito. No? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po nating permanent welting point, ito po yung ating soil moisture level, no? At which plants can no longer absorb enough water to recover from wilting. Okay? Sobrang lanta na yung ating plants dito, even if water is later added. Okay? Kahit diniligan pa po natin, hindi na po siya makaka-recover. And of course, at this point, the remaining water in the soil is held too tightly by the soil particles for plant roots to extract, leading to permanent plant wilting and possible death. Okay? Mamamatay na po, or eventually, mamamatay na po yung ating mga plants, no? Kapag ganito po. Okay, we go to item number 9. What is the term for the removal of some flowers or young fruits to improve the size and quality of the remaining ones? Is it a pruning? Letter B, thinning. Letter C, training. Or letter D, topping. What is your choice? Again, we are talking about here the term for the removal, no, of some flowers or young fruits to improve the size and quality of the remaining ones. Is that a pruning, letter B, thinning, letter C, training, or letter D, topping? What is your choice? Ilang items po tayo ngayon? 50 items po, no? 50 items. Huwag pong mawalang mamayang hapon, no? Kasi nga po meron pa po tayong final coaching sa ICT, okay? So item number 9, kapag removal of some flowers or young fruits, this is what we call isolaribies, and of course that is correct, no? Yan po yung ating thinning na tinatawag, okay? Tanda lamang po natin ha, kapag sinabi po natin thinning, of course ito po yung ating horticultural practice, no, of removing some flowers or young fruits, no, from a plant so that the remaining fruits will receive more nutrient, sunlight, and space to grow, okay? Para hindi po sila mag-away-away, no? Hindi po sila mag-compete sa fertilizers, sa sunlight, no? We have to apply thinning, okay? Yan po yung ating thinning mismo. Kapag pruning po, of course, ito lamang po ay removal of branches, stems, or plant parts to shape the plant, okay? Yan po yung ating pruning. Kapag training po, tanda lamang po natin, of course, it refers to guiding the growth direction of plants by tying or supporting them to a structure. Okay, yan po yung ating training. Kapag topping po, tanda lamang po natin, it refers to the cutting of the upper part of a plant to control height and of course to encourage lateral growth. Okay, yan po yung ating topping. But then we are talking about here the removal, no, of some flowers or young fruits in order for us, no, to avoid competition, no, of plants sa ating mga fertilizers, no, sa ating sunlight. Of course, yan po yung tinatawag natin na thinning. Kaya letter B po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 10. Pomology is the branch of horticulture specifically dedicated to, is it a fruit and nut production? Letter B, vegetable production. Letter C, flower arrangement. Or letter D, turf grass management. What is your choice? Item number 10. Again, if we are talking about pomology, ano po yan? Item number 10, kapag pomology, it is the branch of horticulture specifically dedicated to blank. Is it a fruit and nut production? Let be vegetable production. Letter C, flower arrangement. Or letter D, turf grass management. I see letter A. Tumpak mo yung letter A natin. Gas-gas na yung mga ganitong mga tanungan. No? So, dapat alam na po natin ito. Kapag pomology, of course, yan po yung ating fruit and nut production. Again, kapag pomology, yan po ay branch ng ating horticulture that deals with the growing of fruit and nuts. Okay, yan po yung ating pomology. Kapag vegetables, tanda lamang po natin, ito po ay olericulture. Kapag flowers, ito naman po ay tinatawag natin na floriculture. Okay, sana nakuha po natin ha. Item number 10, kapag pomology, that is fruit and nuts. We go to item number 11, which plant growth regulator is used to induce flowering in pineapples? Is it A, auxin, letter B, cytokinin, letter C, etephone, or letter D, gibberellic acid, or gibberellic acid? What is your choice? Again, we are talking about here plant growth regulator, no? used to induce flowering in pineapples. Okay, so ano po ito? Is it a auxin, letter B, cytokinin, letter C, etephone, or letter D, gibberellic acid? What is your choice? Recorded po ba ito? Yes po, no? And of course, this one will be uploaded po sa ating mga private groups. So for those po na hindi pa po kabilang sa ating private group, murang-mura, 130 pesos, pwedeng-pwede po kayong mag-join, humabol po, no? Meron din po tayong mga mastery test doon, summative test, meron din po tayong mga your pre-board examination kahapon nandun din po, no? Item number 11, again, plant growth regulator, no? So ano po yan? Is that A, B, C, or letter D? I see letter C is, I see letter B is. Okay, tumpak ba yung mga choices ninyo? Of course, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be the letter C, no? Yan po yung ating ethyphone na tinatawag. Okay, tanalaman po natin, kapag sinabi po nating ethyphone, of course, ito po yung ating plant growth regulator, no? Na nagre-release po ng ethylene gas, which is commonly po, no? Commonly used to induce flowering in pineapple plants. And of course, nagpo-promote po yan ng uniform flowering, no, allowing farmers to schedule harvest and of course to improve fruit production efficiency. Okay, yan po yung ating ethyphone na tinatawag. Kaya letter C po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 12. The hardening process in nursery management involves is that A, adding more fertilizer to make the stem woody. Letter B, gradually exposing seedlings to harsher conditions before transplanting. Letter C, freezing seeds to kill pathogens. Or letter D, pruning the roots. What is your choice? Item number 12. Kapag hardening process, no? Ano po ito, no? Kapag na-encounter po natin sa actual board examination, yung hardening process of seedlings, ano po yan? Is it A, adding more fertilizer? Letter B, gradually exposing seedlings to harsher conditions. Letter C, freezing seeds to kill pathogens. Or letter D, pruning the roots. What is your choice? I see letter B is, I see letter C. And of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito, kapag na-encounter po natin sa actual board examination, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be letter B, no? That is gradually exposing seedlings to harsher conditions before transplanting. Okay? Bakit? Ano po ba yung purpose nito, no? Para hindi po ma-shock yung ating mga seedlings bago po natin sila or once we transfer them no sa ating main field. Okay? Yan po yung purpose ng ating hardening. Gradually, i-expose po natin sila sa mga harsher conditions, sa ating mga sunlight, no, sa wind, para hindi po sila ma-shock. Okay? Yan po yung ating hardening process of seedlings. Kaya letter B po yung ating tugpak na choice. We go to item number 13. In a greenhouse, the trapping of heat is primarily caused by which gas? Is that A, oxygen? Letter B, carbon dioxide. Letter C, nitrogen. Or letter D, argon. What is your choice? Item number 13. Kapag greenhouse po yung ating structure, ha? Again, kapag greenhouse po, ito po yung halimbawa ng structure, ha? The trapping of heat is primarily caused by which gas? Okay, ano pong klaseng gas ito? Is it A, oxygen, letter B, carbon dioxide, letter C, nitrogen, or letter D, argon? What is your choice? Item number 13. I see letter B is, tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Of course, this is correct, no? Yan po yung ating carbon dioxide mismo. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, ha, that in our greenhouse structure, yung ating carbon dioxide dito, nagpe-play po yan ng major role in trapping heat through the greenhouse effect, diba? Where heat from the sun enters the greenhouse and partially retained by gases, no, helping maintain a warmer temperature that is suitable po para sa ating plant growth mismo, no? That is what we call carbon dioxide. Kaya letter B po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 14, which specialized stem is an underground thickened horizontal organ. Example, the ginger. Is that a bulb? Letter B, form. Letter C, rhizome. Or letter D, tuber. What is your choice? Again, which specialized stem, no, in an underground thickened horizontal organ. Okay? Yung halimbawa nito would be our gingers. So ano po ito? Is that a bulb? Letter B, form. Letter C, rhizome. Or letter D, tuber. What is your choice? Paklabag po. I see letter C with a question mark here. Item number 14, letter C daw. Tumpak ba yung letter C natin? What about the others? Humabol po sa ating comment section. Letter C is, letter C is. And of course, that is correct. No? Yan po yung ating rhizome mismo. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po nating rhizome, of course, ito po yung ating mga specialized underground, horizontally growing stem, no, that stores food and produces produces new shoots and roots from its nodes. And of course, nagsistart po ito no as a means of vegetative propagation and food storage for plant katulad po ng ating mga ginger. Okay, yan po yung ating rhizome mismo. Kapag bulb kasi, tanda lamang po natin, ito po ay short no and vertical underground stem surrounded by fleshy scale leaves. Diba? Ang halimbawa nito would be our onions and even po yung ating mga garlic. Okay, yan po yung ating bulb. Kapag corm po, tanda lamang po natin, ito po ay swollen, no? Swollen underground stem base that stores nutrients but is more solid and lacks the horizontal growth of a rhizome. Kaya X po yung ating letter B. Kapag tuber po, tanda naman po natin yung halimbawa nito would be our potatoes. Okay, sana nakuha po natin ha. Item number 14, letter C po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 15, the aesthetic practice of pruning trees and shrubs into ornamental shapes is blank. Is it A, topiary, letter B, bonsai, letter C, espalier, or letter D, pollarding? What is your choice? Item number 15. Again, the aesthetic practice of pruning trees, no? And shrubs into ornamental shapes. Okay? Parang dinidesignan po natin yung ating mga plants dito, no? We are creating shapes, okay? Ornamental shapes, okay? Or geometric forms, or even artistic designs. Okay? So ano po yan? Is that A, topiary, letter B, bonsai, letter C, espalier, or letter D, pollarding? What is your choice? I see letter A's. I see letter B's. Tumpak ba yung mga choices ninyo? Ayusin po natin yung mga desisyon natin, no? Item number 15, of course, kapag aesthetic practice, of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter A. Yan po yung ating topiary na tinatawag. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, ano po yung itsura ng ating topiary? Of course, you are familiar with this one, no? Kapag sinabi po natin topiary, of course, ito po yung art no, of pruning, di ba, and training trees or shrubs into decorative or ornamental shapes. Katulad po, no, kapag gusto po natin silang gawing na like animal form, okay, geometric forms, or artistic designs mainly for landscape beautification. Okay, yan po yung ating topiary, no? Kapag bonsai kasi, of course, the art of growing and maintaining miniature trees in containers. Okay, yan po yung ating bonsai, no? Kapag espalier, tanda lamang po natin, ito naman po ay practice no, of training plants to grow flat against a wall or support, usually for space efficiency and fruit production. Okay, yan po yung ating espalier. Kapag pollarding, of course, ito po ay pruning method no, that removes upper branches to control tree height and promote new shoots. Okay, yan po yung ating pollarding. Of course, mainly po, no, ito po ay designed for maintenance rather than decorative shaping. Okay, sana nakuha po natin ha. Item number 15, letter A po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 16. Which of the following is a viral disease in poultry that is highly contagious and affects the respiratory system? Is that A, coccidiosis, letter B, Newcastle disease, letter C, fowl cholera, or letter D, poliorum? What is your choice? Item number 16. Again, viral disease no, in our poultry that is highly contagious, okay, and affects the respiratory system ng ating mga alagang manok. Okay, so ano po yan? Is it A, coccidiosis, letter B, Newcastle disease, letter C, fowl cholera, or letter D, poliorum? What is your choice? I see letter B. Tumpak ba yung letter B natin? What about the others? Huwag pong may maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Item number 16. Of course, kapag ganito po, yung ating na-encounter sa actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? Yan po yung ating Newcastle disease. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin Newcastle disease, of course, ito po ay highly contagious, di ba? Viral respiratory disease in poultry, characterized by symptoms katulad po ng coughing, no? Sneezing, difficulty in breathing, nervous system disorders, and high mortality in severe outbreaks. Okay? Madali pong mamatay yung ating mga alagang manok, no? Kapag natamaan po sila ng Newcastle disease. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin, ha? Kapag sinabi po kasi natin coccidiosis, of course, tandaan mo po natin, ito po ay parasitic disease, no? Caused by protozoa that mainly affects the intestinal tract. Okay? Yan po yung ating coccidiosis. Kapag fall cholera, of course, ito po ay bacterial disease. Kapag colorum, of course, ito po ay bacterial disease, no, that commonly affects young chicks' digestive systems. Okay, sana nakuha natin ha. Kapag viral disease in poultry that is highly contagious and affects the respiratory, that is what we call Newcastle disease. And of course, kapag tinanong po kung ano po yung nagkakos ng Newcastle disease, yan po ay mga viruses. We go to item number 17. The primary site of nutrient absorption in the digestive tract of a pig is it a large intestine, letter B, small intestine, letter C, stomach, or letter D, esophagus? What is your choice? Again, item number 17, the primary site of nutrient absorption. Again, nutrient absorption in the digestive tract of a pig. Is it A, large intestine, letter B, small intestine, letter C, stomach, or letter D, esophagus? Item number 17. I see letter B is, tumpak ba yung letter B natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiyang maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. I see letter B is with a question mark. Okay, tumpak ba yung mga choices natin? Of course, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin sa actual board examination, yung tumak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? Yan po ay small intestine. Okay, tanalaman po natin, no? Kapag sinabi po nating small intestine, of course, ito po yung primary organ, no? Responsable po siya for nutrient digestion and absorption in pigs, di ba? Most proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and vitamins and minerals are absorbed in this part of the digestive tract because it has a large surface area, contains specialized structures that facilitate nutrient uptake. Okay, yan po yung ating small intestine. Kaya letter B po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 18, which mineral deficiency in cattle causes milk fever shortly after calving? Is it A, iron, letter B, iodine, letter C, calcium, or letter D, magnesium? What is your choice? Item number 18. Again, the one that causes milk fever, no, after calving. Okay, so ano po ito? Is it A, iron, letter B, iodine, letter C, calcium, or letter D, magnesium? Item number 18. Sige, try po natin. Sumagot. Item number 18 ay si letter C, calcium. Tumpak ba yung letter C natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiyang maglapag dyan, no? Sa ating comment section. Pumabol po. Okay? Item number 18, of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito, kapag the one that causes milk fever shortly after calving, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be the calcium, no? Letter C po yan. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin calcium deficiency in cattle, of course, it can lead to milk fever o yung tinatawag natin na hypocalcemia. Okay, ito po yung ating metabolic disorder that usually occurs shortly after calving when calcium is rapidly lost through milk production. Okay, yan po yung ating calcium mismo, no? It causes milk fever right after or shortly after calving, no? Kaya letter C po, yung ating tumpak na choice. Bakit? Ano po ba yung iron, no? Kapag nagkaroon ka po kasi ng iron deficiency, yung kadalasan po na mangyayari sa iyo would be anemia, no? Kapag iodine naman, of course, iodine deficiency is associated with thyroid problems and the reproductive issues, no? Kapag magnesium naman, of course, deficiency can cause gross tetany. Okay, yan po yung ating magnesium. We go to item number 19, African swine fever or ASF is caused by, is it A, bacteria, letter B, fungus, letter C, protozoa, or letter D, virus? What is your choice? Item number 19. Kapag ASF, no, ito po ay napaka tindi noong mga previous years, no? So, pinupunteriya po talaga yung ating mga swine, no? Yung mga alagang baboy natin. So, ano po yung nagkukos ng African swine fever? Is it a bacteria, letter B, fungus, letter C, protozoa, or letter D, virus? I see letter D, yes. Tumpak ba yung letter D natin? What about the others? Huwag po mahiyang maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Of course, kapag ASF po, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be the virus. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin ha. Kapag sinabi po natin ASF, ito po yung epekto, no, ng African swine fever sa ating mga alagang baboy. No? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin African swine fever o yung ating ASF mismo, ito po ay highly contagious and often fatal viral disease, no? That affects domestic and wild pigs. And of course, course, it is caused by the DNA virus that attacks a pig's immune and circulatory systems leading to symptoms katulad po ng mataas na lagnat ng ating mga alagang baboy, skin discoloration, internal bleeding, okay, dumudurugo po no, sa loob po ng ating mga alagang baboy, and high mortality in infected herds. Okay, yan po yung ating ASF na tinatawag, no? Napaka-contagious po yan. Okay, sana nakuha po natin ha, kapag ASF po, that is caused by virus. Kaya laredi po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 20, the process of removing the horns. Okay, ito po, very easy. Removing the horns of an animal is called, is it a dehorning, letter B, docking, letter C, dubbing, or letter D, candling? What is your choice? Item number 20. Kapag horns po, no? Removal or removing the horns of an animal. Okay, so ano po yan? Dehorning, letter B, docking, letter C, dubbing, or letter D, candling. I see letter A. Tumpak ba yung letter A natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahimaglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Okay, letter A daw, dehorning. Okay? For sure, magkakilala kayong gusto nyo ding i-dehorn, di po ba? I hope wala naman, okay? Kapag removing the horns, of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be dehorning mismo, no? At nadalaman po natin, kapag sinabi po natin dehorning, of course, ito po yung proseso, no? Or the process of removing or preventing the growth of horns in animals, okay? Katulad po ng ating mga cattle, no? Or cows, to reduce the risk of injury to other animals and handlers, okay? Yan po yung ating dehorning. Kapag docking po, tandalaman po natin, of course, ito po ay removal of an animal's tail, no? Commonly done in sheep and some livestock. Okay, yan po yung ating docking na tinatawag. Kapag dubbing po, tanda naman po natin, ito po ay removal of combs, no? Wattles, or other appendages. Okay, yan po yung ating dubbing. Kapag candling po, tanda naman po natin, of course, this is the process of examining the egg fertility, no, and embryo development using light. Okay, sa mga itlog naman po yan, no? Sana nakuha po natin ha, removing the horns, that is the horning. We go to item number 21, which stomach compartment in ruminants is known as the true stomach. Again, kapag true stomach, okay, ano po yan? Is that a rumen? Letter B, reticulum. Letter C, omasome. Or letter D, abomasome. What is your choice? Item number 21. Naging QOTD po natin ito ha. So at least, no, I hope na sagutan po natin yon. Okay, kapag true stomach po, no, ano po yan? Is it a rumen? Letter B, reticulum. Letter C, omasome. Or letter D, bomosome. I see letter D. Yes. Tumpak ba yung letter D natin? Bago po yan, ano po ba yung ibig sabihin no, kapag sinabi po nating ruminants? Okay? Kapag tinanong po kung ano po yung mga ruminants, ito po yung ating mga hoofed herbivores na klase po ng mga hayop. No? Included po dyan yung ating mga cattle, okay? Yung ating mga sheep, no? Yung ating goats and deer and giraffes. And of course, they are distinguished by a unique four-compartment stomach. Okay? May apat po na compartments yung kanilang stomach, ha? Yan po yung ating rumen, yung ating reticulum, yung ating omasome, and even po yung ating abomasome, no? That allows them to ferment fibrous plant material. Okay? May apat po na compartment yung kanilang stomach, no? But then we are talking about here, sa apat po na compartments na ito, ano po yung makukonsider natin as true stomach? Is that a rumen? Letter B, reticulum. Letter C, omasome. Or letter D, abomasome. Okay? I see letter D is, tumpak ba yung letter D natin? What about the others? May habol pa ba? Item number 21. Of course, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin sa actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter D, no? That is what we call abomasome. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, ha? Kapag sinabi po natin abomasome, of course, ito po yung makukonsider natin, no, as the true stomach of ruminant animals, no? Because it functions similarly to the stomach of non-ruminant animals. It secretes digestive enzymes and, of course, gastric acids that break down proteins and other nutrients before food moves into the intestines. Okay, yan po yung ating abomasome. Kapag rumen po, tanda naman po natin, ito po ay primary fermentation chamber where microbes help break down fibrous plant materials. And of course, this is where the feeds enter first. No, yan po yung ating rumen. Kapag reticulum po, tanda lamang po natin, of course, it works with the rumen, no? In sorting and regurgitating partially digested food for cud chewing. Okay, yan po yung ating reticulum. Kapag omasum po, tanda lamang po natin, ito naman po ay responsable, no? For absorbing water and filtering digested materials before it reaches the apomasum. Okay, sana na po natin ha, kapag true stomach po ng ating mga ruminants, yan po yung ating apomasum. No? Kaya Lara D po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 22, a feed ingredient with more than 18% crude fiber is classified as, is it a concentrate? Letter B, roughage. Letter C, supplement. Or letter D, additive. What is your choice? Item number 22. Again, a feed ingredient, no, with more than 18% crude fiber. Eh, ano po ito? Is it a concentrate, letter B, roughage, letter C, supplement, or letter D, additive? What is your choice? Item number 22. I see letter A's, I see letter B's. Again, tandaan po natin ha, more than 18%. Okay? Sa previous discussion po natin, napag-usapan po natin ito, no, yung mga klase ng feed po natin, no? Pero yung na-mention po natin doon is less than 18%. This time po is more than 18% naman. So ano po ito? Is that a concentrate, letter B, roughage, letter C, supplement, or letter D, additive? I see letter B is, I see letter A with a question mark. Of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito, kapag ganito po, yung tumpak na choice natin would be, this is letter B, yan po yung ating roughage mismo. No? Tandaan po natin, kapag sinabi po natin roughage, of course, it refers to feed materials. No? Nagko-contain po ng more than 18% crude fiber, katulad po ng ating mga grasses, no? Yung ating mga hay and crop residues. And of course, sila po ay napaka-importante, no, in promoting proper digestion and maintaining normal rumen function in livestock, no, especially ruminants. Okay, yan po yung ating roughage, no. Kapag concentrate kasi, tanda naman po natin, no, yung ating mga feeds, no, low in fiber, in high in energy or protein, di ba? Containing less than 18% crude fiber, no? Kaya X po yung ating letter A. And of course, yung ating letter C at saka yung ating letter D, X na po silang dalawa. We go to item number 23. Candling is a process used in poultry. Two, is it A, clean the eggs? Let me check the fertility and embryo development of eggs. Let us see, harden the eggshells, or let me cook the eggs slowly. What is your choice? Item number 23. Kapag candling, no? Candling. Okay, so ano po ito? Is it A, B, C, or letter D? Pakilapag po sa ating comment section. Item number 23, I see letter B is check the fertility in embryo development of eggs. Bakit? Kasi mahaba na naman yung ating option. Ganun po ba? Item number 23, kapag candling po, yung ating pinag-uusapan, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? That is to check the fertility in embryo development of eggs. Okay, tanda lamang po natin ha, ano po ba yung itsura ng ating candling? Ito po siya mismo, no? Tandaan po, kapag sinabi po natin candling, of course, ito po yung proseso, no, or the process of examining the internal condition of an egg by shining light through it. And of course, ginagamit po natin ito in our poultry production para ma-determine po natin yung ating egg fertility, monitor embryo development, and of course, to identify defective or spoiled eggs, no? Helping farmers select the viable eggs for incubation. Ayan po yung ating candling mismo, no? Kaya Larry po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 24. The use of trap crops is an example of what type of pest control? Is it a chemical, letter B, cultural, letter C, biological, or letter D, mechanical? What is your choice? Item number 24. Kapag trap crops, no? Ano po ito, no? Ano pong klaseng pest control ito? Is that a chemical, letter B, cultural, letter C, biological, or letter D, mechanical? Pakilapag po ng ating mga choice sa comment section. Sige, item number 24. What is your choice kapag trap crops? Okay, pakilapag. Item number 24. I see letter D is, I see letter B is. Kapag trap crops, of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? That is cultural. Okay, tanda naman po natin ha. Kapag sinabi po nating trap crops o yung ating cultural method, of course, ito po yung ating makukonsider po natin. Again ha, kapag sinabi po natin trap crops, of course, ito po ay makaklasify po natin no, as under po ng ating cultural pest control, kung saan po minomodify po natin yung ating farming practices or gumagamit po tayo ng mga plants no, strategically to reduce pest damage. Kumbaga, no, aside sa ating mga main crop, naglalagay po tayo ng ibang crops dito no, to serve as decoys. Okay? Yan po yung purpose ng ating mga trap crops para hindi po atakihin ng mga pest no, yung ating main crop. Yan po yung ating ginagamit. O gumagamit po tayo yung mga trap crops o yung mga decoys natin no, or sacrificial plant na ginagamit po natin in our organic pest management. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin ha. Kapag chemical po, of course, gumagamit po tayo ng mga chemicals dito, katulad po ng ating mga pesticides or even po yung ating mga synthetic substances to kill and of course to repel pests. Okay? Yan po yung ating chemical. Kapag biological, of course, gumagamit po tayo ng mga natural enemies, katulad po ng ating mga predators, ng ating mga parasites, or even the pathogens para makontrol po natin or to manage po natin yung mga pests natin. Okay? Yan po yung ating biological. Kapag mechanical kasi, of course, it refers to physical methods, no? Katulad po ng hand-picking pest, no? Or using barriers. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin, ha? Yung paggagamit po natin ng mga decoys, no? Or yung ating mga trap crops that is under cultural, no? Kaya letter B po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 25. Which pest is known for its sowing mouth parts and feeding on the rice grain during the milking stage? Is that a rice bug? Letter B, stem borer. Letter C, leaf folder. Or letter D, army worm. What is your choice? Again, we are talking about here a type of pest, no? Known for its sowing mouth parts and feeding on the rice grain. Okay? Most especially during milking stage, no? So, ano pong klaseng pest ito? Is that a rice bug, letter B, stem borer, letter C, leaf folder, or letter D, army worm? What is your choice? Okay, Miss Mary Grace, i-check ko pong mamaya, no? Sige, item number 25. What is your choice? I see letter A. Tumpak ba yung letter A natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiya maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. No? I see letter A is rice bug. Tumpak ba yung letter A natin? Of course, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin sa actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter A. No? Yan po ay rice bug mismo. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin ano po yung itsura ng ating rice bug. Ito po siya. No? I don't know kung ano po yung tawag ninyo sa inyo dyan, pero sa amin dito, tinatawag po namin ito as changaw. Okay? Tatanda naman po natin, kapag sinabi po natin rice bug, of course, ito po ay common rice pest, no, that has sucking, piercing mouth parts. And of course, ito po ay no, used to feed on developing rice grains, especially during the milking stage, causing empty or partially filled grains and reducing rice yield and quality. Okay? Yan po yung ating rice bug, no? Kapag stem borer, kasi of course mainly, dinadamage po yan no, yung stem mismo ng ating mga rice, no, causing dead hearts and white heads. Okay, yan po yung ating stem borer. Kapag leaf folder po, of course, it folds no, and feed on rice leaves, reducing photosynthetic area. Kaya X po yung ating leaf folder. Kapag armyworm, of course, ito naman po ay defoliators, no, that eat leaves in large numbers. Okay, sana nakuha po natin ha. Kapag klase po ng pest, no, that is known for sowing mouth parts and feeding on the rice grain during the milking stage, that is what we call rice bug. We go to item number 26. Herbicides that kills only specific types of plants. Example, only broadleaf weeds. Yes, is it a non-selective? Let it be selective. Let us see contact or let it be residual. What is your choice? Again, we are talking about herbicides, no, that kills only specific types of plants. Okay, so meron lamang po siyang mga specific type of plants na kaya po niyang konteryahin, no? So, ano pong klaseng herbicide ito? Is it a non-selective, letter B selective, letter C contact, or letter D residual? Of course, ito pak na choice natin dito, this is very self-explanatory. Of course, ito pak na choice would be letter B, no? That is what we call selective. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po nating selective herbicide, of course, ito po yung klase ng ating herbicide na kayang-kaya lamang po niyang patayin, no? Or puksain yung mga specific specific types of plants while leaving other plants relatively unharmed. Okay? For example, it may control yung ating mga broadleaf weeds, no, but not grasses. Okay? And of course, making it useful in protecting crops while managing weed growth. Okay? Yan po yung ating selective type of herbicide. Kapag non-selective kasi, of course, it kills no most or all plants they contact regardless of type. Okay? Wala pong pinipili, no? Yan po yung ating non-selective. We go to item number 27, the phenomenon where a pest population explodes after a pesticide application kills its natural enemies is blank. Is it a pest resistance? Let it be pest resurgence. Letter C, secondary pest outbreak. Or letter D, bio concentration. What is your choice? Doon po ba sa 130 ay mababalikan yung mga nagdaang review? Unfortunately, hindi po, no? Yung ating 130 pesos, goods lamang po yan sa ating mga mastery test, no? Sa ating mga pre-board examination and even po sa ating final coaching mismo. No? That is our 130 pesos. Pero kung gusto mo po, Miss Mary Grace, na balikan yung mga previous discussions, most especially po yung ating refresher sessions, yung ating 10 intensive discussions, you just have to add 70 pesos para ma-add po namin kayo sa ating regular membership, okay? Or sa ating mga regular private group, no? Para lamang po yon sa ating mga regular members, you just have to add 70 pesos, okay? 27, what is your choice? I see letter B, again, the phenomenon, no? Where a pest population explodes, okay? Dumami pa sila, no? After pesticide application kills its natural enemies. Is it a pest resistance? Letter B, pest resurgence. Letter C, secondary pest outbreak. Or letter D, bio concentration. So letter B is, tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Of course, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin sa actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be letter B, no? That is what we call pest resurgence. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, no? Kasi nga po, once we apply our yung ating mga chemicals, no, to kill our pests, okay? Hindi po natin maiiwasan na even yung mga natural enemies po ng ating mga pests ay namamatay din, no? So of course, yung mga natira pang mga peste, no, sa ating field, what will happen since wala na pong mga predators doon, what will happen? Dadami at dadami pa po sila, no? And of course, that is what we call pest resurgence, no? Kaya letter B po yung ating tumpak choice. We go to item number 28. O, ito na, lumabas na yung ating sagot, no? Item number 28, which fungal disease is characterized by a powdery white growth on the surface of leaves? Is that a powdery mildew? Letter B, downy mildew. Letter C, anthracnose. Or letter D, bacterial wilt. What is your choice? Lumabas na, no? Fungal disease. Again, kapag fungal disease, characterized by a powdery white growth on the surface of leaves. Okay, so ano po ito? Is it a powdery mildew? Letter B, downy mildew. Letter C, anthracnose. Or letter D, bacterial wilt. Of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter A, no? That is what we call powdery mildew. And for sure, no? Some of you here ay familiar na po sa ganito pong klaseng ano ba ito, no? Fungal disease po ng ating mga plants, no? And kapag nakita po natin yung mga white na mga powders, no, sa dahon po ng ating mga halaman, and of course, that is caused by the fungal disease called powdery mildew, no? And of course, tanda lamang po natin, again, kapag sinabi po nating powdery mildew, of course, ito po yung ating fungal disease, no? Characterized by the appearance of white, powdery, mold-like growth on the surface of leaves, stems, and sometimes fruits. And of course, this one is caused by several fungal species and commonly affects plants under humid but relatively dry leaf surface conditions. Okay, yan po yung ating powdery mildew na tinatawag. No? Kaya letter A po, yung ating tumpak na choice. What about our downy mildew? Tanda naman po natin, no? Usually, nag-appear po siya as yellowish spots, okay, with gray or purple mold growth on the underside of leaves. Okay, yan po yung ating downy mildew. Kapag anthracnose, of course, it causes dark scented lesions or spots on the plant tissues, no? Kaya X din po yung ating letter C. Kapag bacterial wilt, tandaan naman po natin, it is caused by bacteria. And of course, it is characterized by wilting and plant death. Okay, yan po yung ating bacterial wilt. We go to item number 29. Botanical pesticides are derived from, is it a synthetic chemicals? Letter B, fungi, letter C, soil minerals, or letter D, plants. What is your choice? Kapag botanical, again, kapag botanical pesticides, ano po yan, no? Saan po yan ng gawa, no? Is it A, synthetic chemicals, letter B, fungi, letter C, soil minerals, or letter D, plants? What is your choice? Item number 29. I see letter D is. Tumpak ba yung letter D natin? What about the others? Huwag pong mahiya maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Of course, kapag botanical, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter D, no? Yan po ay plants, no? Kasi nga po, kapag sinabi po nating botanical pesticides, of course, ito po yung ating pest control substances, no? Na derive po sa ating mga plants, di ba? That contain natural toxic or repellent compounds against pests, no? Yung halimbawa nito would be our tobacco, no? And other pesticidal plants which are used as environmentally friendly alternatives to synthetic pesticides. Okay, yan po yung ating botanical pesticides, no? They are derived from plants. Kaya letter D po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 30. Rodenticides are specifically used to control. Is it A, birds, letter B, snakes, letter C, rats, or letter D, snails? What is your choice? Kapag rodenticides, no? Rodenticides, okay? Specifically, ito po ay ina-apply natin sa ating mga field to prevent what? Is that a birds, letter B, snakes, letter C, rats, or letter D, snails? Kapag rodents, no? Rodenticides. Of course, ay si letter C. Tumpak ba yung letter C natin? What about the others? Huwag pong may maglapag dyan, no? Sa ating comment section. Ay si letter C is, ay si letter A. And of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be the rats mismo, no? Yung mga rats natin, yung ating mga mice, okay? Yan po yung purpose mismo ng ating rodenticides, no? To control the infestation of rats or mice, okay? Kapag birds, kasi of course, gumagamit po tayo ng mga repellents, no? Safe po sa ating mga snakes. Kapag snails, of course, gumagamit po tayo ng molluscides, okay? Sana nakuha po natin, ha? Kapag rodenticides, yan po ay para sa ating mga rats or mice. We go to item number 31. And of course, after this one, we will have our 10-minute break, no? Polyculture in fisheries refers to blank. Again, kapag polyculture, okay? Polyculture, is that A, raising only one species of fish? Letter B, raising two or more non-competing species in the same pond? Letter C, farming fish in plastic tanks? Or letter D, farming fish and vegetables together? What is your choice? Polyculture. Ay, si letter B. Tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Letter B is 31. Tupak ba yung letter B natin kapag polariculture or polyculture? This is what we call raising two or more non-competing species in the same pond. Padalaman po natin kasi nga po, pag sinabi natin poly, it means many, di po ba? So kapag sinabi po natin polariculture in fisheries, of course ito po yung practice no, of culturing two or more compatible fish species together in the same production area. Usually, no, choosing species that do not compete for the same food or ecological niche. Okay, yan po yung ating polyculture na tinatawag. And of course, yung mga best combinations po natin that often include yung ating mga carp, yung ating tilapia, and even po yung ating prawns. No? Hindi po sila nagkukumpete. Okay, yan po yung ating polyculture na tinatawag. No? Kaya letter B po, yung ating tumpak na choice. And of course here, kapag gusto po ninyo ng 10-minute break, okay, pahingi po ng thumbs up sa ating comment section. Again, kapag gusto po natin ng 10-minute break, pahingi po ng thumbs up sa ating comment section. Alright, teachers, babalik po tayo right after 10 minutes. And we are back. I hope nandito pa rin po yung ating mga TLE at saka yung ating mga TVTED majors na nakaabang, no? Magparamdam na po sa ating comment section. Babalik na po tayo sa ating discussion, okay? Pahingi po ng red heart sa ating comment section para po sa ating mga TLE majors. And of course, blue hearts naman para sa ating mga TVTED majors. Okay, sige nga po. Red hearts para sa ating mga TLE majors. And of course, blue hearts naman para sa ating mga activity at majors. Sige, sige po. Nandito na po ba ang lahat? Sige, magparamdam po dyan sa ating comment section. Of course, without further ado, let's continue our discussion with item number 32. Which of the following is a primary source of natural food in a fish pond? Is it A, pellets, letter B, plankton, letter C, rice bran, or letter D, cornmeal? What is your choice? Again, which of the following is the primary source of natural? Again, natural po ito ha. Ano po ito? A, B, C, or letter D? Okay, what is your choice? Item number 32. Okay, kapag natural food, of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito ay si letter. Okay, what is your choice? Item number 32 ay si letter B, plankton. What about the others? Huwag po kayo maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Ay si letter B is, tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Of course, kapag ganito po yung na-encounter natin na klase ng tanong no, sa ating actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be the plankton. No? Tanda naman po natin, kapag sinabi po natin plankton, of course, ito po yung ating mga microscopic organisms, no? That serves as the primary natural food source for many fish and plants, especially po no, sa ating mga fry and fingerlings. Okay? Yan po yung ating plankton na tinatawag. And of course, yung ating larawin dito, yung ating pellets, no? Tinanong po natin, ito po ay formulated, no, artificial feeds given to fish but are not natural plant food. Kaya X po yung ating letter A. Kapag rice bran po, tinalaman po natin, ito po ay supplementary feed ingredient. Kaya X din po yung ating letter C. Kapag cornmeal, of course, it is also prepared, no, feed material and not naturally produced in the plant. Kaya X din po yung ating letter D. But then we are talking about here natural food, no, natural, that is what we call plankton. We go to item number 33 in the FCR in aquaculture stands for, is it a fish capture rate? Letter B, feed conversion ratio. Letter C, fast care routine. Or letter D, fluid control range. What is your choice? Kapag FCR po, yung ating nakita sa ating questionnaire, that is what we call item number 33. Kapag FCR, this is what we call feed conversion ratio. No? Tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin FCR or feed conversion ratio, of course, it measures used in aquaculture to determine how efficiently fish convert feed into body weight gain. Okay, yan po yung ating FCR. And of course, it is calculated no by simply dividing the amount of feed given by the weight gain of the fish. Okay, yan po yung ating FCR o yung ating feed conversion ratio. We go to item number 34. Which species is known as the giant freshwater prawn? Again, giant freshwater pond. Is it A, B, C, or letter D? Ito pa ay scientific names, ha? Scientific names po ito, no? So, what will be your choice here? Kapag giant freshwater prawn, o ano po yan? So, dapat alam po natin ito, ha? Okay. 34. Ay si letter D. Okay. Macrobrachium. Okay. Ay si letter D is kapag giant freshwater prawn. Of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be letter D, no? Ay, ano po ba yung itsura ng ating giant freshwater prawn? Ito po siya mismo, no? Tanda naman po natin, kapag sinabi po nating Macrobrachium rosenbergi, okay, pasensya po natin yung aking pronunciation, ha? I do not know how to pronounce this as well, okay? Tanda naman po natin, kapag sinabi po nating ganitong scientific name, ito po yung scientific name, no, para po sa ating mga giant freshwater prawn, also frequently called the giant river prawn. Okay, yan po yung ating Macrobrachium. Okay? Kapag sinabi naman po nating Peneus monodon, of course, ito naman po yung scientific name, no? Para po sa ating mga black tiger shrimp. Again, kapag Peneus monodon, ito po ay black tiger shrimp. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin ha. Kapag Scylla serrata, of course, ito naman po ay giant mud crab. Again, kapag Scylla serrata, ito naman po ay scientific name, no? Para po sa ating giant mud crab. Kapag Letopeneus, of course, ito naman po ay white-leg shrimp, no, or Pacific white shrimp. Okay, sana na po natin ha. Kapag giant freshwater prawn, that is what we call macrobrachium. Okay, kaya letter D po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 35. Hypophysation is a technique used in fish hatcheries too. Is it a clean the water? Letter B includes spawning using hormone injections. Letter C, kill parasites. Or letter D, measure the weight of fish. What is your choice? Again, item number 35, kapag hypophysation. Ano po ito? Ginagamit po natin ito in our fish hatcheries to blank. Is it a clean the water? Letter B, induce spawning using hormone injections. Letter C, kill parasites. Or letter D, measure the weight of fish. What is your choice? Item number 35 ay si letter B is. Tumpak mo yung letter B natin kasi mahaba na naman. Okay, of course, kapag hypophysation, of course, ang tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? Induce spawning using hormone injections. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin hypophysation, of course, ito po yung ating fish hatchery technique, no? Kung saan gumagamit po tayo ng used to induce spawning, no? By injecting hormones extracted from the pituitary gland of mature fish. And of course, no, yung hormone na yan, no? Nag-stimulate ng maturation and release eggs and sperm, helping hatchery operators control and synchronize breeding. Okay, yan po yung ating hypophysation na tinatawag. And of course, that is designed no, to induce spawning using hormone injections. Kaya larami po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 36 ay lumabas na siya. Okay? 36, what is or a sikidis is used in aquaculture to measure. This is water turbidity. No? Tandaan po natin again, kapag sinabi po nating water turbidity or yung tinatawag natin na water transparency. No? Again, kapag sinabi po natin or na-encounter natin sa actual board examination ng ating sikidis, of course, ito po yung klase ng instrument, ito po siya mismo na ginagamit natin no, in our aquaculture para ma-measure po natin yung water turbidity o yung water transparency mismo. And of course, this one is lowered into the water until it is no longer visible, and the depth at which it disappears indicates the amounts of suspended particles, plankton density, or cloudiness of the water, which is important no, for maintaining good pond conditions. Okay, yan po yung ating SICIDES na tinatawag. And of course, that is designed no, to measure water transparency or water turbidity. Kaya larabi po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 37. The most common species of crab cultured in mangroves is it a blue crab, letter B, hermit crab, letter C, king crab, or letter D, mud crab? What is your choice? Item number 37. Again, we are talking about here the species of crab now cultured in mangroves. Okay? So ano po yan? Is it a blue crab, letter B, hermit crab, letter C, king crab, or letter D, mud crab? What is your choice? Item number 37. Okay, what is your choice? Pakilapag po ng ating mga choices sa comment section. Ay si Lara Diaz. Tumpak ba yung Lara D natin kapag species of crab non-cultured in mangroves? Of course, tumpak na choice natin dito would be the mud crab mismo. No? Tanda lamang po natin, ito po yung itsura ng ating mud crab. Tanda lamang po natin, again, kapag sinabi po nating mud crab, of course, most commonly cultured type of crab species in mangrove aquaculture systems because it is well adapted no, to our brackish water environments, grows relatively fast, and of course has high market demand. Okay, yan po yung ating mud crab mismo. Kapag blue crab kasi, of course, it is cultured or found in marine environments, no? Ito po yung itsura ng ating mga blue crab mismo. Kapag hermit crab, tanda lamang po natin, this one is not cultured, no, for food production. Kaya X po yung ating larvae. Kapag king crab naman, of course, this one is harvested, no, from cold, deep marine waters, and hindi po siya suitable for mangrove culture. Okay, so nakuha po natin ha, kapag klase po or type po ng ating crab no, that is being cultured in mangroves, that is what we call mud crab. No? Kaya laragdi po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 38. The law of diminishing returns in agriculture states that is that A, more inputs always lead to more profit. Letter B, eventually, adding more of one input leads to a smaller increase in output. Letter C, prices always go down over time. Or letter D, large farms are always better than small farms. What is your choice? We are talking about the law of diminishing returns. Okay, so ano po yan? What is your choice? Item number 38. Pakilapag po. Okay, 38 ay si letter B. Tumpak ba yung letter B natin? What about the others? Huwag pong may maglapag dyan sa ating comment section. Letter B is, tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Of course, this is correct, no? Yan po yung ating law of diminishing returns na tinatawag. Okay, tanda lamang po natin again, kapag sinabi po nating law of diminishing returns, it states that when one production input is increased while other inputs are held constant, there will eventually be a point where the additional output gained from each extra unit of input starts to decrease. And of course, in our agriculture, this means no that continuously adding fertilizers, labor, or other inputs will not always result in proportional increase in crop yield. Okay, yan yung tinatawag natin na law of diminishing returns. And of course, letter B po yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 39. The process of removing moisture from grains to 14% less for safe storage is it A, threshing, letter B, milling, letter C, drying, or letter D, winnowing? What is your choice? Item number 39. Again, removing moisture. Again, removing of moisture. Ano po yung tawag dyan? Threshing, milling, drying, or winnowing? What is your choice? Okay, 39. What is your choice here? Pakalapag po ay si letter C, drying. Kapag removing moisture, of course, yung topak na choice natin dito would be drying po mismo, no? Huwag na po tayong lumayo. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, again, kapag sinabi po natin drying, of course, this is the process, no, of reducing the moisture content of grains about 14% or lower to prevent mold growth, insect infestation, and of course, spoilage during storage. Okay, kinukuha po natin, no, dinidehydrate po natin, kinukuha po natin yung moisture, no, presence po sa ating mga grains. Okay, kapag threshing po, tanda naman po natin, ito po ay separation of grains from the harvested plant stalks. Okay, yan po yung ating threshing. Kapag milling po, tanda naman po natin, no, the process of grinding grains into flour or other forms. Okay, yan po yung ating milling. Kapag winnowing naman, of course, this one is used, no, to separate grains from chaff using wind or airflow. Okay, so nakuha po natin ha, kapag removing moisture lamang po yung ating tinatanong, that is what we call drying. We go to item number 40. Okay, just wait for a while. Okay, 40. Aflatoxin is a dangerous toxin produced by fungi or Aspergillus, commonly found in is that a green vegetables. Let it be improperly dried corn and peanuts. Let us see fresh meat or let it be root crops. What is your choice? Item number 40. Again, kapag aflatoxin. Okay, so ano po ito, no? Is that a green vegetables? Let it be improperly dried corn and peanuts. Let us see fresh meat or let it be root crops. What is your choice? I see letter C, I see letter B. Okay, tumpak ba yung mga choices ninyo kapag aflatoxin? Again, aflatoxin. Of course, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? Improperly dried corn and peanuts. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin aflatoxin, of course, ito po yung toxic substance na produced by Aspergillus fungi, which commonly grows on improperly stored or inadequate dried grains and nuts, no? Katulad po ng ating mga corns and even po yung ating peanuts. Okay, tanda lamang po natin again, kapag nagkaroon po kasi ng aflatoxin contamination, of course, ito po ay napaka-dangerous, no? Because it can cause liver damage, cancer, and poisoning in humans, and even po sa ating mga animals mismo, no? That is what we call aflatoxin. Okay? We go to item number 41 rather. In agricultural marketing, the middleman is someone who is that a produce the crop, let it be consumes the crop, let it moves the product from the producer to the consumer, or let it be sets the government laws. What is your choice? Item number 41. Again, we are talking about the middleman, no? Ano po ba yung function, no, ng ating mga middleman? Is that it produces the crop, Larry consumes the crop, Larry moves the product from the producer to the consumer, or Larry sets the government laws? What is your choice? I'd say letter C. Letter C, of course, yan po ay tumpak, no? It moves the product from the producer to the consumer. Okay, tanda lamang po natin ha, kapag na-encounter po natin yung middleman, tandaan po natin ito lamang po yung mga person or business that helps distribute farm products from the producer, o no, most especially po sa ating mga farmers, to the final consumer or market. Okay, katulad po ng ating mga traders, no, yung ating mga wholesalers and retailers, no, perform functions like transportation, storage, grading, and selling, which help ensure the agricultural products reach consumers efficiently. Okay, yan po yung ating mga middleman mismo, no? It moves the production from the producer to the consumer. We go to item number 42. Extension production is primarily aimed at is it a teaching college students, let it be transferring technology and knowledge to farmers, let it see conducting lab experiments, or let it be regulating market prices. What is your choice? Item number 42. Kapag extension education, no? Again, extension education, okay? Ano po ba yung ini-aim niyan? Is it a teaching college students? Let be transferring technology and knowledge to farmers. Letter C, conducting lab experiments, or let it be regulating market prices. Okay. Power of mahaba. Okay, sabi dito. Okay, item number 42, kapag extension education, of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be letter B, no? That is transferring technology and knowledge to farmers. Okay, tanda lamang po natin again, kapag sinabi po natin extension education, of course, ito po yung sistema, no, or system of non-formal education. Of course, this one is conducted, no, or designed to transfer knowledge, skills, and modern agricultural technologies to farmers and rural communities. And of course, yung purpose po nito is para matulungan po natin yung ating mga farmers, no, to improve their farming practices, okay, to increase their productivity, and of course, para ma-enhance po yung kanilang livelihood, no, through training, demonstrations, and of course, advisory services provided by agricultural extension workers. Okay, yan po yung ating extension education. We go to item number 43, which post-harvest operation involves separating the grain from the straw or panicle. Again, separating the grain from the straw or panicle. Is it a harvesting? Let it be threshing. Let us see cleaning or let it be grading. What is your choice? Item number 43. Pakilapag po. 43, what is your choice here? Pakilapag sa ating comment section, no? Ay si letter B, threshing. Tumpak ba yung letter B natin? Of course, kapag ganito po yung klaseng tanong na encounter natin sa actual board examination, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter B, no? Yan po yung ating threshing na tinatawag. Okay, tanda lamang po natin, again, kapag sinabi po natin threshing, of course, ito po yung ating post-harvest operation, no? Na nag-involve po ng pag-separate po ng ating mga grain from the straw, husk, or panicle after harvesting. And of course, this process can be done manually, no, by beating or trampling, or even using our mechanical or our threshers mismo, no, using our threshing machines. Okay? Yan po yung ating threshing, di ba? Removing or separating the grain from the straw or panicle. Kapag harvesting kasi, of course, we are just gathering the mature crops, no? That is what we call harvesting. We go to item number 44, the shelf life of a product refers to, is it a the time it takes to grow? Let it be the length of time a product remains usable or sellable. Let us see the height of the storage shelf, or let it the price of the product on the shelf. What is your choice? Item number 44. Again, we are talking about the shelf life, no? So ano po ba yung ibig sabihin yan? Is it A, B, C, or letter D? Okay, 44. Pakilapag po ay si letter B is okay, letter B, and of course that is correct, no? The length of time a product remains usable or sellable, okay? And of course, yeta na lamang po natin, again, kapag sinabi po natin shelf life, of course, it refers to the period during with or which a product, no, can be stored and still remain safe, usable, and of acceptable quality for consumption or sale. And of course, mas especially po, no, sa ating food and agricultural products, pag sinabi po natin shelf life, ito po ay napaka-importante, no? Because it determines how long a product can stay fresh before it spoils, deteriorates, and of course, become unsafe to consume. Okay? Yan po yung ating shelf life mismo, ha? The length of time a product remains usable or sellable. We go to item number 45, value-added products in agriculture involved. Is it A, reducing the price? Let it be processing raw materials into higher value forms, such as, or example, turning milk into cheese. Let us see increasing the land area, or let it be using more chemicals. What is your choice? Item number 45. Again, kapag value-added products. Again, value-added products. Ano po yan? Is it A, B, C, or letter G? I see letter B is tumpak ba yung larbi natin kasi mahaba na naman. Of course, that is correct, no? Processing raw materials into higher forms, no? Tanda lamang po natin again, kapag sinabi po natin or na-encounter po natin sa actual board examination yung ating value-added products, of course, it refers no to our raw agricultural materials that are processed, no, transformed, or enhanced, no, para ma-increase po natin yung kanilang market value and usefulness. Okay? This process may involve converting raw products into new forms, improving packaging, or adding features that make the product more appealing to consumers. Okay? Yan po yung ating value-added products. No? Like for example, turning the milk into cheese, no, yogurt, or butter increases its economic value and shelf life. Okay? Yan po yung ating value-added products. We go to item number 46, the science of naming and classifying organisms is called, is it a morphology, let it be physiology, let it say taxonomy, or let it be ecology? What is your choice? Again, the science and naming and classifying organisms, no? So ano po yung tawag dyan? Is it a morphology? Let it be physiology, let it be taxonomy, or let it be ecology? Okay. Satisfied si Mr. Ellipsis. Okay? O sige, try nyo i-apply yung mahaba na yan dito sa 46. Okay? Again, the naming and classifying of organisms, no? Is called, is it A, morphology, let it be physiology, let it be taxonomy, or let it be ecology? Tandaan po natin ito ha, kasi nga po, there are concepts na pinag-uusapan natin dito na baka lumabas din po sa ating Gen Ed, no? So, dapat alam po natin ito. Item number 46, kapag science of naming and classifying organisms, yung topak na choice natin dito would be the letter C, no? Yan po yung ating taxonomy mismo. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin again, kapag sinabi po natin taxonomy, of course, ito po yung branch mismo ng ating biology, no? That deals with the identification, naming, and classification of organisms into groups based on their similarities and differences. Okay? Yan po yung ating taxonomy. Kapag tinanong po sa actual board examination kung sino po yung father of ancient taxonomy, what will be your answer? Sige. Who is the father of ancient taxonomy? Sige, ilapag po natin sa ating comment section. Again, kapag tinanong po sa actual board examination, the father of ancient taxonomy. Okay? So, sino po yung isasagot ninyo doon? Sige, try po natin. Okay, kapag ancient taxonomy, of course, that is correct, Sir Peter, no? That is Aristotle, okay? Kapag sino naman yung father of modern taxonomy? Again, kapag tinanong naman, father of modern taxonomy, sino po yon? Sige, the father of ancient taxonomy is Aristotle. What about the father of modern taxonomy? Sino po yung father of modern taxonomy? Pakilapag. That is si Carl Linnaeus, no? Very good. Okay? Or Carolus Linnaeus. Okay? Yan po yung ating father of modern taxonomy. We go to item number 47. Which gas is removed during controlled atmosphere storage to slow down fruit ripening? Again, we are talking about here the type of gas, no, that is removed during controlled atmosphere storage to slow down fruit ripening. Okay, so ano pong klaseng gas ito? Is that a nitrogen, letter B, helium, letter C, argon, or letter D, oxygen? What is your choice? Item number 47. Sige, 47, no? Pakilapag. Ano po yung choice natin dito, no? Kapag storage to slow down fruit ripening, of course, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter D, no? Yan po ay oxygen. Okay, tanda naman po natin ha. Kapag sinabi po kasi nating oxygen dito, of course, ito po yung klase ng gas, no? Calmly reduced or removed in controlled atmosphere storage para mas slow down po natin yung respiration rate po ng ating mga prutas, no? And even our vegetables. Tanda naman po natin ha, Lowering oxygen levels slows the metabolic process that cause ripening and spoilage, thereby extending the shelf life and of course maintaining the quality of stored produce katulad po ng ating mga apples, ng ating mga bananas, and even po our pears, no? And of course, letter D po, yung ating tumpak na choice. We go to item number 48. A cooperatives is owned and operated by, is that A, the government, letter B, a single wealthy owner, letter C, its members, or letter D, foreign investors. What is your choice? Kapag cooperatives, again, kapag cooperatives, ano po yan? The government, a single wealthy owner, letter C, its members, or letter D, foreign investors. Kapag cooperatives po yung ating pinag-uusapan, yung tumpak na choice natin dito would be, this is letter C, no? Its members. Okay? Kasi nga po, kapag sinabi po natin cooperative, of course, ito po yung ating business organization, no? That is owned, controlled, and operated by its members who are usually farmers, producers, or consumers who use its services. Okay? Yan po yung ating cooperatives, ha? Okay? We go to item number 49. O, lumabas na ulit. Pasensya po. The study of insects. No? Kapag study of insects, yung tupak na choice natin dito would be the entomology. No? Tandaan lamang po natin, kapag sinabi po natin entomology, of course, ito po yung branch ng ating science, no? That focuses on the study of insects, including their classification, no? Structure, life cycle, behavior, and their effects on humans, animals, and plants. Okay? Kapag study of insects, that is entomology. Kapag pathology, tanda lamang po natin, ito po ay study of diseases and their causes. Okay? Yan po yung ating pathology. Kapag zoology, tanda lamang po natin, of course, ito po ay broad study of animals and insects. No? Kapag ornithology, of course, we are studying birds. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin ha. Kapag insects, entomology po yan. We go to item number 50 and of course, last item for this morning. Sustainable agriculture focuses on, is it a maximum profit in the short term? Let it be long-term environmental health and economic viability. Let us say using a many synthetic inputs as possible, or let it be farming only one crop forever. What is your choice? Kapag sustainable agriculture, okay, so ano po yan? Is it A, B, C, or letter G? Pakalapag po. 50 kapag sustainable ay si Larabis. Tumpak mo yung Larabis natin, of course, kapag ganito po, yung tumpak na choice natin dito, of course, would be letter B mismo, no? Long-term environmental health and economic viability. Okay? Tanda lamang po natin, again, kapag sinabi po natin sustainable agriculture, of course, ito po yung ating farming approach, no? That aims to produce food while protecting the environment, conserving natural resources, and of course, to ensure economic profitability for farmers over long term. Okay? Hindi po natin pinupoison, no? Hindi po natin sinisira yung ating environment. Okay? Yan po yung ating sustainable agriculture. Okay? Sana nakuha po natin ha. Item number 50, letter B po, yung ating tumpak na choice. So bago po tayo mag-iwalay, no? Out of 50, ilan po yung nakuha natin? Paki-flex po ng ating mga scores sa ating comment section, no? Out of 50, ilan po yung ating nakuha? O, sige, you only have few days left, no? Bago po yung inyong big day. So, dapat, puspusan na po yung ating preparation, no? Yung ating pagre-review. And of course, here, dapat, no? The day before the examination, please, I challenge you to rest yourself. Okay? Wag na pong mag-cramming, wag na pong mag-review the day before examination. Okay, so we have here 50 out of 50. Congratulations, Miss Penny, no? Si Miss Mona Lisa nakakuha ng 45, no? Nakakuha din ng 50 out of 50, 40 out of 50, 32, 49, 47, 39 out of 50. Okay, posted po ba ito sa ating group page or sa ating FB group? Yes po, no? This will be uploaded po sa ating private group. So for those po na nag-avail ng 130 pesos for final coaching and pre-board exam, makikita po ninyo ito maya-maya, no? And of course, sa ating mga regular members, i-upload po natin yung ating PDF copy and even po yung recorded discussion natin. Okay? Sana Okay. Thank you so much, sir, no? Balda sa pre-board, still hahabol. Okay, humabol po, no? So for those po na gusto pa pong humabol, open pa rin po, no? Last day na po ngayon. Again, last day na po ngayon. Tomorrow, hindi na po ako mag-accept. Okay? So again, here for only 130 pesos, pwede po kayong pumabol no, for final coaching and pre-board. May pabaon drills po tayo, tips and techniques, mastery test, okay? PDF copies po ng ating presentations na makikita po natin sa ating private group. No? You just search my name, just send a message, Jeff Hermoso Pascual. Again, hanapin po ninyo ako sa Facebook, no? Jeff Hermoso Pascual. Okay, thank you so much po. And of course, may God bless us all. Thank you so much for participating, no? And of course, bago po kami liwat-walay, I would like to leave a quote here. Do it scared, do it broke, do it tired, do it alone, just do it. Okay? Maraming salamat po and may God bless all. Enjoy the rest of the day. Kita-kits po mamaya by exactly 1 p.m. No? Kasi nga po susunod sa atin si Coach Arman for our ICT discussions. Okay? Laban po. And of course for our mantra hanggang March 15 na para sa bata, pamilya at kinabukasan, kayo ay papasa. Okay? God bless us all.